The search is intensifying for missing 3-year-old Camille McKinney, missing for nearly 50 hours now.
These real cases of attempted kidnappings and daring rescues are the perfect example of what happens when things get out of control.
Please help me! Please help me!
So stay tuned and witness these unbelievable abductions caught on camera.
The 37-year-old suspect has been booked into jail charged with attempted kidnapping.
An 11-year-old girl from Arizona is being hailed as a hero after escaping an attempted kidnapping. As she was walking to school, a man in a car approached her and tried to grab her. Reacting quickly, the girl sprinted away from him, running toward her school. She immediately reported the incident to her teacher, who contacted authorities. The man, later identified as 37-year-old Joseph Ruiz, was arrested and charged with attempted kidnapping. Her fast thinking and ability to act in a moment of danger saved her life, showing that even the youngest among us can be brave in the face of danger.
No! Please help me! Please help me!
Everything seemed quiet on Sunday night in Hillsboro, Oregon, until a doorbell camera captured something terrifying. A woman was seen desperately ringing a home's doorbell. Seconds later, a man appeared behind her and carried her off, right off the porch and into a waiting truck. Her cries for help were caught clearly in the footage. Police acted quickly. Thankfully, she knew the man, and this wasn't a random stalker. Officers tracked him down and arrested him the next day. The woman was found safe, but the video left viewers disturbed.
4 people went after him.
Plus the grandmother.
Did anyone grab him?
The grandmother got close to him.
In the Bronx, a grandmother was walking home with her 3-year-old granddaughter and twin grandsons when a man suddenly grabbed the little girl and tried to run. The grandmother immediately chased after him, screaming for help. Luckily, bystanders nearby heard her calls and rushed to the scene, helping to stop the man. In the end, the suspect dropped the child and fled, but not for long. He was caught and arrested shortly afterward.
When you saw him trying to take the child, you started yelling.
Yes, I said, put her down, what are you doing?
Late one night in November 2019, a Ring doorbell camera in Los Angeles' Leimert Park neighborhood captured a chilling scene. A woman's desperate cries echoed through the quiet street. Moments later, a white 4-door car, possibly a Toyota Matrix, sped past with its trunk open. Witnesses reported seeing a man pulling the hair of a woman with dark braided hair in the front passenger seat. The man could be heard repeatedly saying, "I'm sorry." Despite numerous tips, the identities of both the woman and the man remain unknown, and the case is still unsolved.
Telling her something like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I told you I was sorry," and she just kept screaming for help, and then that's when he kind of like just took her and just drove off.
A troubling incident took place at Tatanagar railway station in Jharkhand, India, when a 3-year-old girl was taken while sleeping next to her mother. The footage shows a man picking up the child and walking away. When the mother woke up and realized her daughter was missing, she immediately called the police, suspecting her new partner. After the investigation, 3 men were arrested, including Rinku Sahu, who had a history of similar offenses. In a small town in Washington, something incredible happened. A man suddenly ran off with a toddler from a playground. But what he didn't expect, 2 young siblings were right behind him. Alicia, just 8 years old, chased after him without a second thought. Her 10-year-old brother Brendan wasn't far behind, still pushing the stroller. Thanks to their quick thinking and loud yelling, the man got scared and left the toddler in a nearby lot before running off.
When you kind of pick up, there's a girl running behind him. He's running down an alleyway with a kid. Things don't look right.
Everyone's calling them heroes now. And honestly, they are. Just shows. Being loud and brave can really make a difference sometimes. Samantha Koenig was working alone at a coffee stand in Anchorage on the night of February 1st, 2012, when a man named Israel Keys approached her window. He placed an order, then tied her up, and forced her into his truck. The entire event was captured by a nearby CCTV camera. Keys later sent a fake ransom note and began using Samantha's ATM card across different states. After weeks of investigation, he was arrested in Texas. Authorities linked him to multiple crimes. Before he could face trial, he took his own life in jail. Samantha's case remains one of the most strangest in recent memory. What began as a normal shift ended in something no one could imagine. It was an ordinary day in Richmond Hill, Queens, until a nightmare rolled in. A 5-year-old boy was walking with his mom and 2 siblings when a man jumped out, grabbed the boy, and shoved him into the vehicle. But this wasn't going to be easy. The mother and the other kids ran to the car, yanked the door open, and pulled the child out before the suspects could escape with him. The car sped off, but the boy was safe in his family's arms. You never know when chaos might hit, but sometimes it's the people beside you who turn into quiet heroes without a second thought. In March 2025, a startling scene unfolded outside a Jacksonville, Florida DMV. A mother was desperately trying to stop a man from driving away with her 2 young children, aged 2 years and 6 months. The suspect, 26-year-old Yanni Human, attempted to flee in an SUV, dragging the mother and 1 child through the parking lot. Witnesses didn't hesitate. More than a dozen bystanders rushed in, pulling the family to safety and providing crucial details to the police. Man was arrested later that day and faced multiple charges, including child abuse and false imprisonment. In moments of danger, everyday people become heroes when they choose to step in and make a difference. At a gas station in South Salt Lake City, a man named Carl Gravett turned the ordinary into the unthinkable. He was caught on camera hoisting a woman over his shoulder. Witnesses say she was begging for help, trying to hide under someone's truck, screaming while Gravett refused to let go. Thankfully, cops caught him, and now he's facing serious charges. Security footage showed a scene of a family of 4 in California being taken against their will. It wasn't random. The man responsible, Jesus Manuel Salgado, had been in conflict with them for over a year. Days after their disappearance, authorities found all 4 family members no longer alive. Salgado was arrested and booked into Merced County Jail, now facing multiple charges. This wasn't a sudden outburst. It was the final act of something long and bitter. Cameras caught what words couldn't fix, and justice began its slow turn. It looked like just another quiet afternoon at a convenience store in Ohio until something happened that no one saw coming. A man walked in, and within moments, he grabbed a woman and dragged her out right there in front of everyone. Turns out, she was the mother of his children. The whole thing was caught on camera, which helped the police to track him. They later caught him and charged him with serious offenses. It's strange how someone can walk in like they're buying a soda and leave behind a nightmare. A mother was at the mall's food court with her baby, unaware that a man was watching her. When she looked away momentarily, he seized the opportunity, picked up the infant, and walked away. Fortunately, surveillance cameras recorded the incident. The footage was crucial in helping the police identify and apprehend the suspect quickly. The baby was safely returned to the mother. In Bradford, West Yorkshire, a man was abducted in broad daylight by a group of masked men. The victim, walking along a street, was approached by a man with a clipboard and a high-visibility jacket. As he was lured into a nearby alley, 3 other men jumped out of a red van, grabbed him, and forced him inside. The terrifying scene was caught on CCTV, showing the victim being dragged away. Afterward, the man suffered injuries but managed to escape his captors. Police quickly arrest one of the suspects, and the investigation continues. Sometimes, the most terrifying things unfold right where you least expect them, like a movie playing out in real life. Miami police shared shocking CCTV footage of an unknown woman being forced into a car near La Ceiba tire shop. The woman was seen speaking to 2 men before suddenly running inside the shop, reportedly trying to hide in the restroom. Moments later, one of the men followed her, grabbed her, and dragged her outside. Witnesses watched as she was pushed into a car and driven away. To this day, the woman's identity and what happened next remain unclear. Some moments vanish in seconds. This one left behind nothing but questions.
Well, our reporter Rajiv Popat has been looking back at the night the gang struck.
It was just after 7:45 p.m. when Romnick Jogia, a 74-year-old jeweler in Leicester, locked up his shop and started his usual walk home. CCTV caught him heading down the road, unaware that a group had planned something sinister. Moments later, men wearing burqas took him away in a van. Hours passed, and one of them was seen returning to the shop. He entered using Romnick's security code, stayed briefly, then walked out with a large bag. The group behind it, including 3 men, were later caught. Some plans don't unravel with loud noises or drama, just a silent walk home and a door that never opens again. This woman in Hillsboro was caught on a doorbell camera crying out for help before being taken away from someone's front porch. It all happened late Sunday night, and at first, no one heard the screams. But the person living there did hear knocking and checked the camera. What she saw made her call for help right away. The woman in the video looked really scared and seemed like she didn't know what to do. Thankfully, police later found her safe and said this wasn't a random situation. They believe the 2 people involved actually knew each other. What led to that moment is still not fully clear. Brendan Volmost was just 23 when something strange happened right in his own driveway. CCTV shows 2 cars pulling up fast and a few men rushing toward him. Brendan tried to get away through his backyard, but the group caught up to him. What happened next isn't clear, but police think he was taken from the area. Since that night, no one's heard from him. His bank account hasn't been touched, and his phone has stayed quiet. His family is still hoping for answers and refusing to give up.
You're watching what authorities say is the attempted kidnapping of a 6-year-old little girl. She's okay because she did everything right, screaming as loud as she could, causing the creep to let go.
6-year-old Kennedy Nash was just doing a simple chore taking out the trash when a man suddenly came up and grabbed her. At first, he walked away, but then turned back like he was about to take her with him. That's when Kennedy did something amazing. She screamed as loud as she could and ran back inside. Her dad didn't waste a second. He got in his car and drove around looking for the guy. Turns out the man was hiding at an auto shop nearby. Cops showed up and took him away, all thanks to Kennedy's quick thinking and her dad's fast action.
I was taking the garbage out. This guy walked over me and then he held my hand and took me. And I screamed and ran inside, started crying.
Early one morning on Thanksgiving, a grainy church camera caught something strange. Sherry Papini suddenly running toward the church, then vanishing off screen. Less than a minute later, she comes back into view, heading the other way toward the highway. That's where she tried to flag down a car. The driver who spotted her was quick to call for help. Sherry told authorities she'd been taken by 2 women and kept away from her family for 22 days. But ever since then, her story's been full of questions. And now, this old footage just makes the whole thing even more puzzling. A 14-year-old girl in Arizona showed some serious presence of mind when things didn't feel right. She was just walking home from school when a car pulled up nearby. A man in the passenger seat, later identified as Timothy Guan, got out and started walking behind her. The way he matched her pace felt off, and she clearly sensed it. She quickly picked up speed, and when he did too, she made a run for it. Luckily, nearby security cameras caught the whole thing. Her reaction probably saved her from something really scary. As for who the woman driving the car was, that part's still unknown. A regular morning shift at a coffee shop in Auburn, Washington, suddenly took a weird turn. Security footage shows a man in a pickup pulling up to the drive-thru, acting like he's placing an order. But out of nowhere, he reaches through the window and tries to grab the barista. Thankfully, she reacts fast and pulls away, and the guy drives off. What's strange is that he has a pretty noticeable tattoo on his left arm that says Chevrolet. Police are still looking for him, and they've asked the public for help. As for why he did it, that part's still a mystery. A strange and confusing case popped up in Philadelphia one night around 9:15 p.m. 2 people, a 24-year-old man and a 25-year-old woman, were in their car when they were stopped by guys claiming to be police officers. These so-called cops told them to step out. then took the woman and drove off. But instead of disappearing, they actually dropped her off at a police station. No one was physically harmed, but something was taken during the incident. What exactly? That part's still under wraps. Police are now investigating and trying to figure out who these men really were and what their goal was. This one started with just a handshake, but things took a strange turn real fast. Back in November 2014, 22-year-old Carlicia Freeland Gaither was walking down a quiet street in Germantown, Philly, when a man stopped her, pretending to ask for directions. The moment they shook hands, she could sense something was off. Within seconds, the man tried to pull her toward his car. A nearby camera caught everything. Her fighting back, even kicking out the car's window. The clip quickly made the rounds online. Days later, police finally tracked her down. But what really happened during those missing days? That part still raises a lot of questions. This incident shook an entire neighborhood. An 8-year-old girl named Salem was out for an evening walk with her mom in Fort Worth when a car suddenly pulled up. A man grabbed Salem and took off, leaving her mom desperately calling for help. Luckily, a doorbell camera captured the whole thing, right down to the car speeding away. That video helped police get the word out fast. Hours later, 2 sharp-eyed church members spotted the suspect's car parked outside a hotel. Police stepped in and found Salem safe. It all happened so quickly, but some parts of this story still feel pretty unclear. In broad daylight on a busy street in Chicago, a mom and her 5-year-old daughter were just out walking when something super strange happened. A man started following them, then came up and offered the mom money for her child. Yeah, it sounds unreal. When she said no, he tried to pull the little girl away. Thankfully, the mom stood her ground and got her daughter to safety. Surveillance cameras nearby recorded everything, and the man was caught soon after. He's now facing serious consequences, but something about this whole situation still leaves a weird feeling behind. What was he really up to? At a Walmart in Lehigh Acres, Florida, something pretty strange got caught on camera. A man walking with a woman suddenly reached out and grabbed a 4-year-old boy's hand. It looked like he was trying to walk off with the kid, but the boy's quick-thinking sister didn't let it happen. She grabbed her brother back and pulled him away. Their mom was just one aisle over and called for help right away. Store staff stepped in, and soon, authorities tracked the man down through his car's license plate. He was wearing the same clothes as in the footage, which made it pretty easy to confirm. Still feels odd, right?
Stop the truck! Now! Pull into the parking lot!
In Hillsboro County, Florida, a pretty tense moment unfolded when a man reportedly drove off in a truck that had 2 kids inside. Their dad had just stepped away, and when he came back, the truck and the kids were gone. Luckily, a deputy nearby spotted the vehicle within minutes. Body cam footage shows the officer pulling the truck over and asking the man to step out. One of the kids quietly says, "That's not my dad," and that changed everything. The man, later ID'd as Kevin Smith, was taken in, and the kids were brought back safely to their family.
Why are you doing with the kids? What's going on? All right, step out of the car.
That's not my dad.
Step out of the car, bro.
It's unbelievable that it happened in my neighborhood. I had no idea who it was. I came to the house, so for me, I really hope for the safety of the lady.
At around 3 a.m. in a quiet Canadian neighborhood, a man named John Vaughn got a strange alert from his doorbell camera. The video showed a woman at his doorstep, clearly nervous, glancing over her shoulder. Then a man appeared behind her, and things got tense real fast. She was pulled away toward a car parked nearby, and just like that, gone. John didn't recognize either of them and immediately called the police. They later released footage of a dark SUV leaving the area. Nobody knows who they were or where she is now, but it's the kind of thing that leaves you with a lot of questions.
We have our investigative teams that are working again all throughout the day yesterday, all throughout the night, and we'll continue to until we get these people identified and located.
That boy's grandmother, who was shopping here at this outdoor market, she turned away for a moment and then noticed the stroller with her grandson in it was gone.
This one's wild. A security camera in Brooklyn caught a man casually walking down the street, pushing a stroller. But here's the twist. Neither the stroller nor the toddler inside belonged to him. The boy's grandmother had turned away for just a second while shopping nearby, and when she looked back, both were gone. She spotted him a little further down the block and ran straight toward him. Thankfully, she got the stroller back and the little one was okay. The guy walked off before anyone could stop him. Police are still looking for him and no one really knows what his deal was.
Shame, like someone could actually think doing that, like crazy stuff.
In southeast London, an 11-year-old girl had just stepped out of a newsagent when a man approached her and tried to convince her to leave with him. Everything could have gone horribly wrong until a brave woman carrying a black shopping bag noticed something off. She had just passed them moments earlier, but something made her turn around. Security footage captured her walking straight back and confronting the man. Her boldness worked, and she scared him off and possibly saved a life. Some people walk past danger, others step in and stop it. In North Philadelphia, surveillance video captured a man lunging at a young woman walking alone. He tried to drag her into a vehicle, but she refused to be silent. With fierce resistance, she wrenched free, forcing him to abandon his plan and flee. Her fight drew attention, possibly preventing a far worse outcome. Police are now hunting the suspect, reviewing the footage, and asking the community for help. She didn't just escape, she turned a moment of terror into proof of her strength. And that's the kind of moment that speaks louder fear. A calm day turned into chaos in a blink. Inside a California cell phone store, a mother walked in holding her baby and guiding her 4-year-old daughter. Moments later, a man's arm reached through the doorway, and he tried to snatch the child right in front of her mom. The girl struggled hard, and that struggle saved her. The kidnapper, later identified as 24-year-old Terry Ransom, couldn't hold on and ran. The surveillance video helped police quickly identify and arrest him. Anichka Penev, a 35-year-old Ukrainian living in Cape Town, drove into her husband's factory parking lot on September 29, 2022, in a yellow Audi R8. Surveillance cameras show her car boxed in by 2 vehicles. Moments later, armed men forced her out and into a getaway car. She was missing for 8 days, while a ransom demand reported around several million rand was relayed to the family. Finally, she was found tied up in a shack in Khayelitsha and safely reunited with her family. Though family and police haven't revealed whether a ransom was paid, a crisis response task force helped secure her release.
I think firstly we're very grateful that she was recovered and that she is safe. I think that's the most important outcome that anybody can hope for.
That story just sounds terrifying.
It was literally my worst nightmare, and it just keeps replaying in my head over and over and over again. That's all I could think about was getting her out of that car.
A 7-year-old girl was riding her bike when a nightmare unfolded, when a man suddenly grabbed her and tried to shove her into his car. But her aunt saw everything and instantly switched to warrior mode.
The girl's aunt immediately went into warrior mode. She ran after the suspect, dove through the window of the driver's side of his car, and wrestled with the suspect as he tried to drive off with the youngster.
Without wasting a second, she sprinted toward the vehicle, dove headfirst through the driver's window, and began wrestling the suspect. A stranger who witnessed the chaos blocked the kidnapper's escape by parking in front of his car. Then he yanked the suspect out and held him until police arrived. The child was saved thanks to fast instincts and fearless action. That day, love truly fought back.
Bala, who has pled not guilty, has been ordered to undergo a mental health evaluation.
First, a Cranston man identified as a suspect after a 9-year-old girl was grabbed and forced into a vehicle on Monday afternoon.
She had just stepped off her school bus like any normal day. But what happened next shocked the entire neighborhood. In Providence, Rhode Island, a 9-year-old girl was walking home when a man suddenly grabbed her and forced her into a car. The kidnapping happened in broad daylight near Grover and Moreno Streets and was caught on a nearby security camera. The girl's courage helped solve the case. She was released an hour later and bravely gave police details that helped them track down the man, 34-year-old Luis Martinez Romero. He now faces some serious charges.
He just kind of tried to push me toward the car, so he actually didn't even try to take my phone. And the next thing, the door flung open and there was a man inside that tried to pull me in. And he just said, "You're coming with us tonight, lady."
She was just waiting for her Uber, but danger was already standing nearby. Sarah Scott stood calmly, thinking everything was fine. But soon, a man walked up to her, and something about him felt wrong. Before she could react, a car pulled up. She thought it was her ride, but it wasn't. That car belonged to the same man. It was a trap. Both were working together. They tried to force Sarah into the vehicle, but she refused to stay quiet. She screamed, fought back, and didn't give up. The men panicked and ran. Police are now investigating the case, and no doubt these two deserve the strictest punishment the law allows. In Ohio, 23-year-old Chloe Jones accepted a ride from William Mozingo. Instead of taking her home, he drove her to a shed where police say she was held for 4 days. During that time, she was trapped with no way out. Officers found her just in time and rescued her. Sadly, this wasn't the man's first crime. He had already been convicted in 2017 for kidnapping another woman. Mozingo was arrested again and charged. Chloe's strength got her through, but it's scary to think how close she came to never walking free again.
Is intensifying for missing 3-year-old Camille McKinney, missing for nearly 50 hours now.
A child's birthday party turned into a nightmare in Birmingham, Alabama on October 12, 2019. Camille McKinney, just 3 years old, was playing with another child outside a housing project when a man approached them. Surveillance footage later revealed the man was Patrick Stallworth. He offered sweets to lure the children. Camille was taken, and that was the last moment she was seen alive. Stallworth was arrested days later on other charges, but was soon connected to the abduction. What began as a joyful birthday gathering ended in sorrow, with an entire community grieving the loss of a child known for her bright smile and warm presence.
I haven't been able to sleep, and I don't even know the baby, but I was estranged from my grandkids, and it breaks my heart.
A recent claim of a child abduction attempt at a Walmart in High Ridge caused concern, leading the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office to investigate. Surveillance footage was reviewed, witnesses were questioned, and in the end, there was no sign of any crime. Authorities confirmed the report was false. This isn't the first time something like this has happened at the same location. Another recent claim also turned out to be untrue. Police worry that repeated false alarms might make people ignore a real emergency when it happens. In Louisville, Kentucky, body cam footage revealed the chilling rescue of Jonah Wilson, found chained by the neck in a locked bedroom. Police rushed to the home after neighbors saw her breaking a window in desperation. Upstairs, they discovered the girl. Officers quickly cut her free. Her estranged partner, Moises May, was arrested and charged with multiple serious offenses. What began as a desperate cry for help turned into a moment of courage and survival. She didn't just break the window, she shattered her silence. Cherish Periwinkle was just a child enjoying a shopping trip with her mother and 2 little sisters at a Walmart in North Jacksonville. There, they met a man named Donald Smith, who offered to buy the girls new clothes. Her mother, Rain, accepted the offer, thinking it was a kind gesture. A short while later, Smith offered to get the family food from McDonald's inside the store. But instead of returning with burgers, CCTV captured him walking out of the store with Cherish. His van was later seen leaving the parking lot. That was the last moment she was seen alive. Smith was later stopped by police and was taken into custody. In September 2020, 19-year-old Angel Lynn was abducted by her then-boyfriend, Che Bowskill, near Loughborough, UK. CCTV footage shows Bowskill forcing Angel into a van before she fell from the moving vehicle onto a dual carriageway at 60 miles per hour. She suffered catastrophic brain injuries, leaving her unable to walk or talk. Bowskill was sentenced to 7.5 years for kidnapping and coercive control. In a flash, everything she knew was torn apart. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. They say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but this nightmare didn't stay hidden for long. It was a quiet night when everything took a terrifying turn. A doorbell camera recorded a woman running to a house, screaming for help and banging on the door. Within seconds, a man showed up and forcefully dragged her away. The shocking moment was captured clearly, helping police identify the man as Dorian Rosillo. Thanks to the footage and quick investigation, the woman was found safe and Rosillo was arrested.